record. See, I almost did it. So, while we're going to talk about Windows and we're going to talk about browsers and we're going to talk about some things that will work in a variety of devices, I really want to also get some feedback from you, excuse me, about things you would like covered. You know, I always do this. You know me well enough by this point to know that I always ask, what are the things that are bugging you that you'd like to be able to do? So I'm going to do that first. You can tell me your list.
I don't know enough to make a list.
That's fine. That's a good answer.
It bugs me that we cannot meet in person, that we don't have classes. I mean, we have classes, but not in person.
I mean, your technology vocabulary is something I'm just not grasping. I have to get more used to it. That's all.
No, actually, if that's a problem, you need to stop me, because I shouldn't be using a technology vocabulary word that I haven't defined for you.
Well, you probably have, but we're slow learners.
Oh, no, but if I define it and you don't remember it, stop me. Because one of the things that's easy to happen to people like me, I do it so much all the time, every day, every minute,
Yeah.
that I don't even know I'm using terms I haven't defined. So
Like you say browser, I have to think about that. You know, it's not, I don't immediately recognize what you're talking about.
I know, and I define that a lot, and I define it every time I talk about it, but it is a concept that's kind of foreign, and I think that's part of why it sticks and people have trouble remembering it. But I'm going to talk about it today in a way that I'm hoping will make some things clearer. We'll see if that works. We'll just keep trying.
I'm having
That's why
problems.
we're here.
Okay, go ahead, Bobby.
I'm having problems, and I'm sure there's a very simple answer. But with my people, I can't get people put into where they'll show up on my emails in my in folder. They're always in junk, even though it's people I talk to all the time. I email back and forth all the time. And I don't know if that's part of Windows or what, but I just can't get somebody to be a friend, for want of a better word. I can't move Lifespan into where it comes in my inbox. It always comes into junk. And
Actually, my Lifespan emails, Bobby, you'll love this. When I send out the Mad Mimi, it's always in my spam folder. Always. I have to go into the spam folder and get it. And no matter how many times I try to tell Outlook that it's not spam, it ignores me.
Isn't that a function of the email program you're using?
It's a function of all email programs these days.
Right. I mean,
and
not
that's-
Windows, but the email program.
Okay.
Yes and no. If we're using Outlook, it is the same as it's a Windows-based program. But for most of us, it doesn't really matter which one we're using. It does it in all of them. And part of that, and I'll talk about why that happens. I won't get off on a pig trail right this second. Bobby, what email do you use, sweetie?
Hotmail.
And you get to it through your browser, right?
Right.
Like you open either Edge maybe or Chrome?
I think it's Edge.
Okay.
It's not Chrome.
Gotcha. Okay. Yes, Ursula, I saw your hand.
What is the difference, or why it's between Google and Chrome? I mean, I seem to use both and it doesn't make any difference, but I just never know why.
Okay, I'll talk about the difference. Okay, I'll tell you the differences. Yes, ma'am, Miss Beth.
Okay? I can't talk right now. I'm on Zoom with, I'm learning about
Just give her a minute. I don't want to have to make her figure out how to unmute.
I guess I have a Google
Okay.
account
Mhm.
and I kind of sort of know some of the things it does, but I really don't understand it.
A Google, is that what you said?
Google account, yes.
Google account. Fair enough. We can do it. Okay, anything else? All right, this is perfect. You guys just fell right into my plan.
Okay, good.
Mary, were you going to say something? I'm sorry.
Well, there's something about downloading that I don't quite get because I can't always find what I think I downloaded, you know?
Yep, I know. Tony?
I was thinking, you know, I have two emails basically, my Mindspring and Yahoo. And in Yahoo, I'm using that to send out my Zoom information. And I have a couple of groups, and I'm just trying to figure out in Yahoo how, if I hit the group's name, that everybody in that group would go into the email address instead of having to select each one individually. If there's a way of doing that, I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to figure it out, Peggy.
Well, it's similar to what Bobby was just talking about, because what you're talking about is the way your email program manages contacts.
Yeah,
And the really confusing issue here is every email program, Hotmail, Yahoo, Outlook, Gmail, all handle contacts a little differently. But we will talk about it because we can talk about it in a way that all of you will have to know, and then we'll talk about the specifics.
yeah. Well, in my email, in the Yahoo account, I get all of the contacts. They come into my in folder. You know, very rarely are they in trash or spam or whatever. But trying to get them addressed is, you know, if I got 8, 9, 10 people like in my
Tony,
Korean War
what you're
veterans.
talking about is how to create groups.
Yeah,
Different email programs have different names for that function, and think about it differently. Some of them call it email list. In Outlook, they call it a list.
Yeah,
In
same in Yahoo.
Gmail, they call it a group. So different email packages deal with that issue differently, and that's what we'll go through.
Okay, good.
And right now, I've got somebody in Yahoo, I got somebody in Hotmail. I know I got Gmailers.
I have AOL.
Oh,
Wow.
goody.
Boy, that is an old program.
Okay, so Mary, your email still is AOL? Didn't we
No, I
switch you
use
to
I use
Gmail?
them both. I use them both. Every time I open up a new account, I use Gmail because AOL keeps sending me so much junk, you know.
Okay. All right. So the important place for you would be Gmail,
Yeah.
because you don't need to make groups in AOL.
Well, I did have a group in AOL and we
No,
couldn't.
we're gonna make it in Gmail.
Yeah, I
Because
couldn't move
anything new you're creating, you should be creating in Gmail.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I got it. Kathy, we're just making a list. Welcome. We're glad to have you. People are just identifying things they want us to cover. Like I always do.
Well, I was hacked in Facebook and it also affected Gmail, and it says I'm not connected and I am connected. And anyhow, I deleted all my Facebook account. I deleted the mail thing.
Your
the
regular
message
Facebook
for
account?
Facebook.
You deleted your real Facebook account?
Yes, I did.
Why?
It was hacked.
Yes, honey, you and
because I was
500,
and-
Kathy, you and 500 million other people. If people, everybody in this room, if this could be called a room, has probably had somebody pick up their Facebook handle and try to get other people to like them, to form a group off their name. Every one of us have had that happen.
yeah.
So what you do is you tell all your friends, don't refriend me because you're already friends with me.
Right.
And then you let it go. Because if your friends don't friend the wrong Facebook account, then you're fine. But it's too
Well,
late to tell
I
you that
gotta-
now, so I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that.
I get an email from Facebook that the account was entered in Canada. And please change my password because
Okay,
somebody in
here's what-
Canada.
Kathy, I think that might have been phishing email to get your Facebook password. That was not real. Facebook would not send you an email telling you that somebody has entered your Facebook account in Canada. They would never send you that. They would never know it. They would never track you down to that level of detail. That was a phishing email. So what I'm putting on my list for teaching is security and protection, because you guys need to know
Well,
how
I
to.
changed my email for
Yeah.
Facebook. I mean, I changed the password.
I know, honey, but now what you got to do is you got to go. Did you change it through that email? You hit a link in that
I-
email telling you to change your password.
I went back to Facebook, I think, and changed it. I might have done both. I don't know.
So have you deleted your Facebook account?
I did.
And do you have a new one?
Well, I didn't try. I'm afraid to create a new one.
Don't do anything right now. Just let it sit for a day or two. And then at the end, we'll talk about how to do it when you get ready to set up a new one.
Okay.
Okay? Just let it sit for a while.
Yeah, I'm afraid I don't want them to get into my emails or my other things, and I'm really like scared to death.
You need to go back to your email, Kathy, and you need to delete the email that told you you had been hacked. You need to delete it, and then you need to go into your deleted emails and you need to delete it again so that it is totally deleted. So that's the first
Okay.
thing I would do, okay?
Okay.
And then since you deleted your Facebook account, and if that's the password you gave them in that email, you deleted it now, so you're good.
Okay.
Here's a rule, and I learned it the hard way. I lost $250 because I fell for a phishing call. Okay. I'm supposed to be smarter than that, but it didn't work. I mean, I wasn't smart. I did the stupid thing. There are tremendous, in fact, there's a couple of really good videos that I'm going to get a hold of and use for this class at one point or another that explain the ways people try to cause you to be dumb. Because I say that with all, I mean, I was dumb, so I'm in the group. And phishing emails is the single most common. Facebook will never email you unless you put in your preferences that you want emails about certain things. Okay, and I'll show you that too when you set your new account up. Apple will never call you. Apple doesn't need your money. They will never call you. Ever, 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 ever. If you think they did,
Except my son.
it's phishing. They will never call you. Windows has no idea what's going on in your computer. Trust me, they don't know. So if you get one of those, stop. Don't even open the damn thing. If you open it, don't click on anything. Stop, wait, and call me. Just call me. It's the only way I know to deal with this. And then read it to me and I'll tell you whether you should throw it away or pay attention. Tony,
Okay.
Yeah, when I get a friend request from a person who's already a friend of mine, I always contact them by phone to see if it's legitimate.
if I get a friend request from someone I know is already my friend, I delete it. Or I say no, or whatever you can do on Facebook. I
Okay.
forget what the button says.
Good
Because
rule of
they're
thumb.
already my damn friend.
Right, okay.
So now what I have done is I've gone to Facebook and I've looked up my friend list, to make sure. I thought they were my friend, but are they really my friend?
Right.
Maybe they really decided they didn't like me. What do I know? So I go and I look it up to be sure. But for the most part, if you know they're your friend, you do not, you just need to ignore it.
Okay.
The other thing, Peggy, is when I hit Google, it says I'm offline, but I'm not offline. Because I go, so they might have done something
No,
with that
no,
too.
nope. Nothing to do with Google. If you hit Google and it says you're offline, that has absolutely nothing to do with this phishing attempt.
Well,
But I think it has to do with Kathy, and hi, Paul. How are you?
I just finished my French class, so I'm sorry I'm late.
No, that's all right. I figured
Oh.
that's what happened. It's fine. You're welcome. Come on in whenever. It's okay.
Thank you. Appreciate
Hey,
it.
Paul, you missed a good lesson
Tony.
this morning, by not learning how to do a home permanent.
This morning started out with Cobb County's computer crashing.
Right, yeah. We can predict that.
Yeah.
So are we having a lesson from Peggy?
We
Yes.
are, and what Peggy is doing at this moment in time is she is soliciting from her students
Uh-oh.
topics,
Soliciting?
soliciting, not that kind of soliciting,
Okay.
from her students, topics they want to be sure we cover. So that's what I'm doing right now. And Kathy, what I'm saying to you is if you're seeing that, it's probably because the website you're on, when you open, did you open Chrome or Google?
Google, you know what I did? I went to settings and it said my local network was off under Google. And I just pushed it on and now it's on.
Funny how that
So
works.
that,
Yeah,
And that didn't have anything to do with the phishing, Cat. Okay?
okay, well, I was scared because
I know
Google,
you were.
God.
I know. I understand. No, I get it. It's scary. Trust me. When I had to go to my bank and tell them I really didn't mean to spend that $250, can you please get it back for me? I was really afraid.
Right.
well,
Okay, so we have browsers, explanation, contacts and email, keeping your emails out of junk and spam. How do you create groups in email? A lot of email stuff. Google and Chrome, what's the difference? Why do I have a Google account? What does that mean? Downloading files, where did they go? And I'll do I'm going to do a series of videos that I'm going to put up on one of these pages about security and protection against phishing and hacking.
I
Yes,
got
Paul.
signed in. I got signed in from Fulton County for on waiting for the COVID vaccine.
Good.
I mean, but it says at least they got my email, and now I have to wait until there's like space or whatever.
They're all trying to figure out a system. The problem is everyone gets to make up their own. So Cobb County's doing one thing, Fulton County's doing another thing, independent labs Nancy and I have appointments for our vaccine on January 18th.
Wonderful.
That's because we went to the Atlanta ambulance company that our niece doctor told us was starting to do vaccinations. We lucked out. But
Wow.
it's coming. It's coming. I talked to Dr. Black, who is our doctor and has also spoken to this group. She has applied to be a distributor of the vaccine, but even if when they approve her, the first place she's going is all of her older adults who are homebound because she does home visits. So she's going first to her homebound older adults and their caregivers because to protect them first, and then she will start opening it up to the rest of us who are her patients. And that's why Nancy and I said, okay, if we got this other deal, we'll try it. But it's all over the map. But everybody's starting to get emails from Piedmont, from Emory, from a whole wide range of providers are beginning, not everybody's gotten one, are beginning to send emails saying, we'll be in touch, don't call us. If you call us, you'll break it again. Don't call us, give us a minute. We'll let you know when we're going to start taking reservations and appointment times. So they're coming. It's promising. It's coming. It's coming. Have hope and faith. It's coming.
I went into that ambulance site and it said only for the employees or the workers, etc.
Yeah, it's the wrong link, Bobby, and I would need to find the correct link because it's not just, and I will have to go back and find the link and the correct name of the organization in Marietta, which I probably didn't use the right name.
Well, I didn't get it too. I think I got it from Nextdoor or something else anyway, but it wasn't for us anyway at this point.
Well, we ain't nobody's employee, and they sent us the forms to complete and the permission sign to sign.
I mean, we waited 9 months. We can wait another week or
Exactly.
two. I mean, can we go back to technology?
Yes, we're going there now. So, Paul, did you have something you wanted to add?
I was wondering what everybody thought. Some years ago, maybe a couple of years ago, Clark Howard came up with how or what to do when you are doing your banking and whatever on the computer, because everybody is scared. And he sort of explained that you should have a dedicated computer with nothing else. And I was wondering if it's something
I really hate Clark Howard sometimes. The man is crazy. I think it's really good he's retiring, to be perfectly honest. He has terrified more older adults that I work with than any other human being on the face of the earth. It drives me nuts. There are ways, Paul, to use your regular computer. There are things in your browser, which we're going to talk about in a minute, that are called ways to browse incognito.
Oh.
And I'm going to show you how to do that.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you.
What that means, this is starting the class, okay? One of the major ways that hackers get into systems is they hack in, okay? And they watch your keystrokes. I know that sounds crazy, but that's how they do it. Once they have a door, and they've gotten in the door typically because of a phishing email where you've clicked on a link and given them just a tiny piece of information that lets them in. And then they just watch. And when you go to your bank and you put in your ID and you put in your password, they watch your keystrokes.
Yeah.
Okay. So the way you avoid that is you use your browser on incognito mode. That's what it's called in Chrome. It's called something else in Safari and something else in Edge, but I'll show you the 3 versions.
Oh, good.
All right. Just let me look up one thing. Because everybody has to name it private. In private is what they call it. Everybody has to call it something damn else. They just, God forbid, they should all work together and standardize something. So what I will do is I will show you that, okay? It may not be today, but it will be part of our lessons. I'm going to do a security session where I'm going to talk about phishing emails and some of the other ways. Phone calls have become the latest deal. They call you incessantly. That's what happened to me. They called me over and over. They called me every 15 minutes for 4 hours.
Wow.
And finally, when I got to the end of the 4 hours, I was so kaflimped. It was a very stressful day to begin with. So I answered, right? And that just took me right down the path and I was sucked into the vortex. Okay. So we'll talk about all that. All right.
What were they telling you, Peggy?
That my Apple ID had been compromised
Uh-huh.
and that I needed to get in right away and fix it. And I ignored it and ignored it and ignored it and ignored it and ignored it. And finally they wore me down and I started talking to people. And and then I had two of these dudes competing, calling me at the same time. One would call me and then 10 minutes later, the other, because they were like in a contest, a competition, which one of them could get the sucker, you know? So it was really a horrible experience. And that's when the young woman, Nancy, got on the other phone, called Apple. And that's when the young woman said, ma'am, Apple will never call you. Ma'am, Apple doesn't want your money. Not that way. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start. Anything else? If you think of something else, just email me. I'll stick it on the list. All right, fair enough. And we will end this class with two fun tricks that Windows 10 does that I think you'll enjoy. Okay, because Windows 10 has some things hidden behind that are really fun to use. So I will talk about that.
Great.
All right. I don't need sound. I'm going to share my screen. I don't want that. Oh, heck. Okay. I'm going to open a couple windows here. All right. And I know I'll have to make them smaller so that you can see what I'm doing. Because otherwise it gets hidden by the foolish bar at the top, right?
Okay.
I'm going to get rid of your pictures over here. You might want to do the same thing because you have each other's pictures sitting on the right-hand side or on the top.
Correct.
Okay. As long as you can see what I'm doing. Can you see my two boxes here?
How
Yes.
do we get rid of the pictures?
So if you're on a computer, what you can do is you can go up to the top of the box with all of our photos, and there should be a little minus sign in the top left corner.
Yes,
If you click that, our pictures will get out of the way.
but you're taking up the whole screen.
Yes.
I'm taking up so that means you can see everything. You're in full screen. So if you go up to the top right corner,
Yeah,
do you see where it says view?
yes,
Click on that and say exit full screen.
okay. Now I can see Mary eating.
Yeah, okay, but that's because you're in speaker view. So go back up to view
Yeah,
and you say grid view. Is that one of the options, Paul?
no, I have full screen swap videos side by side,
Side
standard.
by side, Paul, side by side.
Speaker or gallery?
Gallery, side by side gallery.
Uh-oh.
I lost everything except Zoom. The word Zoom.
Okay,
Okay,
you're back.
I have stopped sharing. So what do you all see? Bobby, you just,
Lost everything.
no, you didn't lose it. I promise. Go
I've seen
down.
everybody.
Okay, hold on a minute, Paul. Go down to the taskbar
Yeah.
and there's a little Zoom emblem, Bobby,
Yeah.
Bobby, and that's where our pictures are.
Yes,
If you click on the little Zoom emblem,
yes,
you'll see a Zoom box and you'll see our pictures.
right.
Click on our pictures and then you'll be back at the gallery, Bobby.
Ooh, I see you all augmented.
There you are. Okay, so I have you now. Okay, so what do you see now? The Zoom screen?
Yeah.
Okay, go
Join
down. Do you know where the taskbar is?
Yeah.
Okay, at the very bottom there on the because you're on a computer, right?
Right.
Okay, at the very bottom in the taskbar,
Right.
there is a blue square with a Zoom icon.
Right.
Click it, and tell me what you see.
Zoom and then the pictures of all of you.
And you click on the pictures of all of you, Paul, and you're all set. Bobby, when you click on the Zoom icon, what do you see?
It's like a split screen of you and Zoom.
Got it. Okay. So, do you have up in the top right corner of your screen a little tiny box with me in there?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. In the bottom right corner of that teeny tiny box is
Mm-hmm.
a square with a green arrow shooting out of it. I promise it's there.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
and
Gotcha.
there we are. There we go. Okay. It's Zoom. One of the things that's happened is I now have an iPad Pro, and what it lets me do is grab screenshots that I can show you. So it's a way I can teach Zoom, which is the other thing I plan to do some of, because when we're on it, it's hard to teach it. Okay. So now we're all back to gallery view, correct?
Mhm.
Okay. Oof. So I'm going to share my screen. And I'm going to start out just with Chrome. Can you see my Chrome window?
Yes.
And it's sitting, Bobby, do you see it?
Google. Yeah.
It
Yeah,
says
and it's
Google.
Okay, I'll tell you the difference in a minute, but it's sitting right in the middle of the screen, correct?
Yes.
Right.
Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I got this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to close it. Okay. So here's the question. What I want to do right this second is I want to go on the internet. And I want to go on the internet for all kinds of reasons. I want to go on the internet in order to read my email. I want to go on the internet in order to make a Google search. I want to go on the internet in order to look for magazines I can read. I want to go on the internet because that's where the stuff is, right? Everybody tracking with me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It seems obvious, right?
Yes, yes.
So how does one get to the internet?
Hit the icon.
Well, I click the Chrome button.
Okay, so now we're going to get the definition of the word browser. All right. If you see all these funny little icons, we call them, sitting on my desktop. So there's two words, Mary, I've just used, and now I'm going to define them. The desktop is that whole picture of Dublin with the rainbow, the taskbar at the bottom, and all these icon pictures. All of that equals my desktop. When we do the same thing, Ursula, from an iPad, I call it your home screen.
Okay.
Those two things are the same, whether it's a home screen on a mobile device or a desktop on a computer. That's what we're talking about. So you're now looking at my desktop. Every one of these icons are what? What are these things?
Those are applications.
Exactly right, Tony. Those are applications. And that's what's important for you to understand. So your computer or tablet has a motor, right? It has something that makes it run. That's that operating system we always talk about, right?
Right.
But to do specific tasks, you need the motor, first of all, but then you need applications that are written and specially formed to do specific things. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
Okay. If you want to go to the internet, you have to use an application to get there. Applications that open the door to the internet, that are your entrance, are called browsers. A browser is an application that provides you access to the internet. Today, we're going to talk about 3. All right. So
Peggy, can you also call it a program?
No, you can call it that, Tony, but that's not the correct phrase
Okay,
that people are going to recognize.
all
So
right, fine.
what I try, everything here is every one of these icons opens a program. But these days on a computer, they always called them programs.
Right,
Now, because so much is mobile, they call them applications.
application, okay,
Okay,
Applications and programs in reality are the same thing. When we got so much mobile, everything kind of moved to the terminology of application. But here's the problem. The application or program that gives you access to the internet is highly specialized specifically for that purpose. So that's where browser came from, because you're using it to browse the internet. Okay, that's where it started. It was back in the day when the internet was, Al Gore had just invented it. Okay, so it little humor there, little humor. So
I like that.
everybody wanted to browse the internet. So consequently, the term browser became attached to the programs or applications that give you access. And that's very specialized. We talk about that like it's no big deal. It's kind of a big deal because it connects you to a huge universe of information. I mean, it's a big deal. Now, sorry. What clearly happened in technology, and it's not a new thing, but it certainly took off like crazy in this arena, is competition, right? So the very first browser, the most popular, wonderful, beautiful browser, was something called Mozilla Firefox, which continues to this day to be my favorite. If
I never heard of it.
If I could make it work, I swear to you, I would use it all the time because it has the highest level of privacy and security of any browser. They are absolutely, completely committed to privacy. For me, who does this work, right? That's a pain in my butt because I need connection and I need openness in order to be able to move around to do the work I do. So I left Mozilla and for a long time I was an Internet Explorer girl. I hated Internet Explorer. So I left them and started searching around and I found Chrome. These are all browsers made by different companies, okay? So Firefox is made by a company called Mozilla, M-O-Z-I-L-L-A. I'm trying to remember if I even have it on here anymore.
I used to use that, Peggy, until about 5 years ago for some reason. In fact, I tried to download it again.
It's still there, trust me.
I know it's still there because periodically I see it.
I have so much on my computer, I probably just deleted it, but it's an option. Okay, I'm just telling you. But every one of these applications or programs has its own idiosyncrasies, right? So when you leave one and go to another, you've got a learning curve like any program. So what I suggest is find one you like, stick with it. And what I'm going to do is tell you the differences between them. All right. I'm going to start with Microsoft Edge for the moment. Microsoft originally had Internet Explorer. That was their classic, that was their competition in the browser environment. And they had, that's all anybody used because it came as the default browser on every computer. Because our operating systems are Windows operating systems, and this is the Microsoft browser. Well, there was a lawsuit about unfair competition, and Microsoft was required to give alternative browser options on every Windows computer. So suddenly Internet Explorer wasn't the one people picked. They looked at Firefox. They looked at Chrome. And so the landscape of which browser wins changed. Okay. So Microsoft, being the competitive beast they are, has worked with their new Windows 10 operating system and created a new browser called Microsoft Edge. Okay, and it looks like this. Now, I've picked, let me say this better. We're going to talk about personalizing your browser, but basically this is something Microsoft provides. So do you see down here, it says, do you like this image? Can you see that little teeny tiny text?
Yep.
If I click that and they say, oh, I like it. Okay, we'll keep this and we'll show you more pictures like this. Okay, so now here I am. I'm going to go back and reset this. Okay, so they're going to keep showing me pictures every time I open Microsoft Edge, and they'll stay with this flavor. All right, they give me a taskbar at the bottom where I can find a bunch of stuff that I typically absolutely want nothing to do with. Okay, that's my opinion. You'll see, Tony, I have an address bar up here.
Right.
I'm sorry, a bookmark bar, because they have that as well. Okay. They do favorites the same way with the star. Remember, we did that the other day where you can
Right.
click this.
Mhm.
Okay. And that's there. They have a menu with stuff. Okay. When you do the 3 dots, people are using the 3 dots either right next to each other or on top of each other as a graphic, meaning menu.
Yep.
You're all still with me, right?
Yes.
Okay, I've got all kinds of things I can do here, and we'll talk about some of the details here as we go through next week, because some of these things are quite cool. These are favorites like we were just looking at, right? But you can also do different things. This is if you want to see where you've been. This is history.
Oh, okay.
And if I go in and manage history, there's every place I've been. Now you'll notice I don't really use this account much. I don't use Edge as my primary browser, but this is where you find history. Okay.
Uh-huh.
To go back to my menu, the 3 dots, okay. This is additional apps that I can have that connect to this program. So now here's a real confusing piece, because we've already said your browser's an app, right? But your browser is a complex program that gives you access to so much information that now you can also attach other applications to it. So I don't happen to have any. I'll show you more when we get to Chrome, but here is where I can add programs to the program. It's like a program in a program. Okay. Extensions are a similar thing. Again, I'm in Edge, so I don't have a lot. I'll show you a few more of them when we get into Chrome. But all these things let you do a lot, more than we can deal with in one class when I'm talking about 3 browsers, all right?
Yeah.
So let me see if I want any more. They have some, oh, maybe it's here. What is this?
Does anybody else hear a background noise when Peggy's talking?
Yeah,
Sounds like a Rolex wheel or something.
sounds like a little motor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds like the snake that with the tail going brrr.
Yeah, right. There you go. Whatever in the sound you want to call it.
Okay. Only when I talk?
No, when
Yeah.
you're changing.
Well, now it's gone, whatever you
Yeah.
did.
It's
Yeah.
gone.
I think it might have been the heater.
Oh, okay.
Okay, here's where you can save a collection of things. It's a slightly different than a bookmark. It lets you pick things that are organized in certain topics. Anyway, it's just another thing they thought up. I don't want this anymore. Oh, right here. All right. So, and then here you've got more settings.
It's back again.
I'm sorry, there's nothing I
Yeah,
can do about
whatever.
it.
All right. I
because-
thought maybe just coming through my computer.
No, something when you change screens, weird.
Okay, so I'm switching, okay?
Yeah.
And now I'm going to talk, I don't want that one.
Peggy, how can I get rid of Edge? When I open my computer, I don't use Edge, I use Chrome. But Edge always seems to want to come up first, even though I've selected Chrome as my browser. It still
What?
wants to come up.
Tell me what you mean by come up. So when
It's
you,
the first thing, yeah, it's the first thing that appears on the home screen.
okay. When you open the browser,
No, when I just open a computer,
okay.
Edge comes up.
That's probably computer personalization, but we'll get there.
All right.
Okay. Chrome. All right. Same concept, same kind of thing. You're going to see the same stuff. So now let's just talk for a minute about what comes up. So when I opened Edge, you saw this search the web here, right?
Yep.
Okay. Now we're going to have another lesson. So you got browsers, right? And what do browsers do again?
Search the web.
Nope.
Give you access to the web.
There you go. Browsers are your door. It's the program that gets you in. Once you're in, you can do a lot of stuff, including searching. When you search, what are you using to search? You're using a search engine. Browser, search engine.
Mhm.
Okay. Edge right here is the browser. Bing is the search engine. So when I search for something, I am now in something called Microsoft Bing.
Uh-huh.
All right. And Bing is their proprietary search engine. So if you go into Edge and you use Edge's default homepage, which is what this is, when you search, you will get Bing as your search engine. Okay?
Yep.
Now, you can change that if you're so inclined. And you can go to settings. Yeah, they don't let you do that easily here. On startup. So on startup, okay, I could open a specific page, right? So I could say, well, let's open a specific page on startup. So I'm going to add a new page. We'll see if this works.
Are you in Google or are you on the Edge?
I'm in Edge, baby.
Okay.
So now I'm going to open Edge. And look what comes up.
Google.
Because Google is a search engine, okay? And what I did is I went into settings in Google, in Chrome. I'm in Chrome now. This is Chrome, not I'm sorry, I'm in Edge. This is
Yeah.
not Chrome, this is Edge. Sorry, there's too frickin' many of them. Look, Edge, you see Edge right here.
Yes.
I'm in Edge. But what I said was on startup, when I open Edge, I don't like Bing as a search engine. I want Google.
So why don't you just go straight to Google? Instead of mucking around.
Google is not a browser. Google is not a browser. You're the one that tells me you detest Chrome. Chrome is a browser. Google is a search engine. You can use a search engine from any browser you want. So what I did is I said, when I open Edge, which I like, let's say I like how Edge works. I like these features.
Yeah.
But I like Google better as my search engine. So I can keep Edge. I don't have to give Edge up, but I could make Google my home screen. If I go back to settings, okay, and I go back to startup, you can also have continue where you left off. So it's going to open the last page you were on. But open a new tab is the typical. Okay. So now we're going to do it. I'm going to open Edge and I'm back at where I was before. This is what Microsoft would give me. Okay. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yes.
Paul, are you understanding what I mean?
I don't know where the heck you are now.
In Edge.
Are
Okay,
you
let
in
me-
Edge or are you in Chrome or what?
Okay, let me start over. Okay, this little thing down here is the icon for Edge, correct?
Right, yeah.
And that's what I clicked.
And who is popping up?
Edge. It's
Right.
always Edge. There it is, Edge. The home page they give me by default uses Bing as my search engine.
But you got rid of it, didn't you?
I did, but I put it back because I wanted you to see what I did. Okay.
Okay.
So what I do is I go here and I go to settings. All right. And you can customize Edge or any other browser to work any way you want.
You just type it in where you say to sync?
No,
Up at the top?
no syncing here. We're not doing any of the syncing stuff. So if I go down here, okay, and I go where it says, do you see where it says on startup?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
If I click that, I control, as you do, what home page comes up when I open Edge.
Okay.
So right now, when I open Edge, see,
Yeah.
this is tedious, but it's really important because
Yeah.
this is how you guys always get screwed up. The difference between a browser and a search engine, okay? Edge is your browser that Microsoft created for you. When you default to everything Microsoft would normally use, you're going to get Microsoft products, right? Just like if you use Chrome, you're going to get Google products. And if you use Firefox, you're going to get Mozilla products. And it, I mean, you know, it goes with the territory.
Yep.
So here I am in Edge, and this is the default. Open a new tab is just the default. And that means that I'm going to get this,
So
which
you-
is their pictures and their search engine.
All right.
But if I don't like that, I can go to settings, which I got to go here. Okay. And I can go to on startup and I can change that
Where do you type in what you want?
right here. So I have three choices. Open a new tab is the default where I get Microsoft stuff. Okay. Continue where you left off just means anytime I open Edge, I will automatically be on the last page I was on when I closed it.
Would it take you to Google since
I don't know, probably.
Okay, all right,
I can't answer that, but if that's where you were when you closed Edge, yes.
yeah, okay,
But I went here where it says open a specific page or pages. Okay, because I want to tell it what to open
Yeah,
when I open Edge.
okay. I
So
want
I-
DuckDuckGo.
I'm not going to do DuckDuckGo.
Can you put that in? Theoretically
Oh,
speaking,
you can put anything you want, sure.
that's what I'm asking.
Is it duckduckgo.com?
Yeah,
What is
what is
that?
it, what is that?
It's a search engine. It's a search engine.
Oh, okay,
it
Never heard
showed
of
up.
it.
Look at that.
Okay, so now it's going to open both of these.
Uh-huh,
Let's see what happens. So I'm going to open Edge, okay, my little Edge guy down here. And look, it opened in both. So here is Google
yeah,
and here is DuckDuckGo.
oh,
Never heard of DuckDuckGo.
Me neither. He loves it because it's private and so he feels like he's not being tracked.
yeah, but the duck is tracking you, Paul. The
Okay,
duck is every place you've been.
so Paul, DuckDuckGo will actually add it to Edge and make it an extension or an additional application if you want it to. So you can click this and get it added in. But my point is you don't even have to do that. You just have to put it in as a page
right.
you want when you open Edge. So
Yeah.
if I go back here to on startup, I can get rid of Google. And so now when I open Edge, I'm going to get DuckDuckGo.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. So
Hey.
I open Edge and voila, I now have DuckDuckGo as my start page, my home page when I open my browser. If my
Peggy, when you have use different search engines, do they limit you on what you can find, or it's all the same, no matter which search engine you use, you can find what you're looking for?
in my experience, Ursula, they each use a slightly different logarithm. Okay, they each the statistical way they get you things based on what you search for is slightly different for Mozilla, or I'm sorry, for Firefox, for Google, for
Bing,
Bing, thank you, and for DuckDuckGo. All right, they each work slightly differently. That's why my recommendation to people is just try them and see which one you like best. I tried Bing because when it first came out, it was getting a lot of hoopla, you know, and it took me about 3 days to realize it sucked because they don't give you the way, yeah, their calculation of what you're looking for was nothing related to what I was looking for.
Okay, got it.
But I had to use it to find that out.
That answered my question. Thank you.
But a lot of people like more private search engines like DuckDuckGo and Firefox, and there's another one that's gone out of my head. My bias is I don't need my search engine to be my privacy screen. My privacy screen is my settings on my computer and if I don't want people to know what I'm doing when I'm on my browser, I use incognito. Okay.
Okay,
So everybody gets that part, right?
yes.
So now I'm going to open, oh, geez, I keep doing that. So now I'm going to open Chrome because I personally like Google. Now, let me just separate out some terms, okay? Chrome is the browser, is the program that gets you to the internet. Google is the search engine. All right, are you with me?
No,
Yes.
Yeah,
What do you mean, no?
I'm getting very lost.
No, you are not. No, you are not. You just went through all the Edge stuff and you were totally clear, right?
Right.
A browser and search sounds like the same thing.
They're not. They're not. That's what I'm trying to teach you, Paul, because that's how you get into trouble.
Right.
Your browser is a program that opens the door for you to the internet. If you didn't have a browser, you wouldn't be Googling anybody. If you didn't have a browser, you couldn't use DuckDuckGo.
Yeah, right. Good point.
If you didn't have a browser, you wouldn't see the internet. You know, you could hear about it and we could call you up and tell you about it, but you'd never get there.
So all you would have is a desktop.
Correct. Now, what I have said in many classes, and I like this analogy, but sometimes it's hard for people to get, your browser is like, okay, let's say you live in a gated community, okay? And you drive up to the gate. The browser is what opens the gate for you. All right. Then you have two other functions you use to find your way around. One is the phone book, right? Or your address book, where you search for people you're trying to find, correct?
Right.
So that's when you use the search engine. So just like in Edge, when you open Edge, Microsoft is going to give you their search engine, Bing, right?
Right.
When you open Chrome,
Yep.
Google
get
is going to
Google.
give you their search engine.
Yes.
Actually, it's called Alphabet, by the way. Alphabet is the company that owns Google, just to make it even more confusing.
Right.
But this is, I don't have to have Google come up here. I can go to the same place in settings. I can go to, I got to find it, be patient with me. Show home button I want. And then here's where I make my home page. Right? I want my bookmarks bar. Come on, there. I want Google as my search engine, but I could change that. Look, I could make it DuckDuckGo.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Okay, but I'm going to go with Google. Here it is, on startup. Do you remember that the Edge thing said the same thing? On startup, I can open a new tab page. Same thing they said in Edge. If I do that, I'm going to get whatever Chrome wants me to have. I can have it be start wherever I left off, and I'll get the last place I was visiting. Or I go here and I can make it a specific page. So I'm going to add a new page. And I'm going to add it. Okay. I'm going to take out Google for the moment. Okay. Is there a save on this? I never remember. Nope. So now I'm going to close that and I'm going to open it again. Ah, shit.
Yeah, that's what happened.
No, I did it wrong.
I know, Duck didn't come up.
I know I did it wrong.
It's a
I'm not-
stupid name.
I'm not infallible, y'all.
Oh,
You're human.
New tab.
I thought you liked the Pope. You're infallible when it comes to computers.
Come, yeah, there you go.
Peggy tries very hard to make us feel better.
I work on it.
I know, I appreciate it.
No,
Sorry,
Isn't
I
it
kept
interesting?
clicking.
That is interesting.
No, it's just that I don't change this. So my experience with changing this is limited because I prefer Google. So
I do too.
I don't do this very often. So anyway, but the point is, if Peggy would do it correctly, you would, oh, it shows the homepage, right? Sorry. So when I hit home, I get DuckDuckGo.
That's
Okay,
a
so
dumb name.
so what I did wrong, Paul, is I just put it in the wrong place. It doesn't mean it won't do it. It's just that I did it wrong. So I have to change my home page, okay? But here is my home button. You see it?
Yeah.
If I hit my home button, I get DuckDuckGo because that's what I put in there.
Yeah.
All right, so I just did it wrong. What I'm trying to tell you is you got lots of ways that you control
Yes.
the customization of what you see. But the browser is the browser is the browser. You can change your search engine. You can change your home page. You can change anything you want. That's what I thought. To whatever you prefer it to be. I know.
Are we keeping you from napping, Paul?
No,
Tony?
it's a lot. It is a lot. Okay, so my bookmarks bar is on. We've talked about that, right? On startup. Oh, wow.
What is that, Peg?
It's stuff I've got open somewhere else
Oh, okay.
because I have another deal open.
Hmm.
Here we go. Okay. I don't want all these things. Okay. So there you go. Down here, there's this little thing called advanced. Mary, when you talked about where did my download go?
Uh-huh.
If you're using Chrome as your browser and you hit the 3 dots and go to settings, okay, like I did, remember? At the very bottom of settings, there's something called advanced. And down in here is where you decide the location for your downloads.
Oh, okay.
And what I do is I have this clicked, and that's ask me where to save each file before downloading.
Hmm.
So when I click download, a Windows window comes up and it says, okay, here's your download file. Where do you want me to put it? And then I pick the folder. Does that make sense, Mary? You don't look like it.
Well, except the folder part.
All right. Then I can give you a demonstration. I think. Let me think about it.
Wouldn't you have it in a download folder?
I don't, because
Oh.
I don't want it to go to a downloads folder that then
All
I can
right.
never frickin' find.
Okay.
So the problem is that people don't realize something called Internet File Explorer. And
Never
we're going
heard
to
of it.
spend some time on Internet File Explorer because that's how you find your way around a Windows computer.
Okay.
And it is on your taskbar always. And it's right there. You see it?
Yep.
Looks
No,
like
well,
file.
hold on. Where you pointing? I can't see.
Okay, I'll try to point better. So if I take you see my white cursor, right?
Right, I see the white cursor.
And you see the edge icon?
Okay.
Right next to
Oh,
that
the folder. Yeah,
is
okay.
the thing that looks like file folders on your desk.
Right.
When you hover over any of these icons, it tells you what they are, right? You know that part, right?
Yes.
Right.
So I'm hovering over the one that says File Explorer. When I click, I open it. Oh, shit. I got to get rid of some things. This is what's on my computer,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah,
I'm not even going to talk about Dropbox. You can see that there is something here called downloads.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If you leave your download settings on the downloads folder, remember in Chrome, we had this option. Hang on a second.
Can you explain where you're running the cursor? Because you're moving the cursor about and it's kind of hard to,
I know, but I'm going back to a place we've already been, which is
All right.
settings.
oh, okay,
So
fine.
I was just trying to get there quickly.
All right,
You go down to settings and you go down to advanced.
right.
And this is where you determine where you want your downloads to be.
Okay,
If I turn this off, okay, my downloads will automatically go to that downloads folder. They're always going to show up there. I don't like that because when I download something from the internet, I want to tell my computer where to put it.
So you can find it.
Right. So what I do, let me see, I'm trying to think what I have I can download.
so it's going to ask you where you want to put it.
Yeah, I'm going to show you that.
Okay.
So let's say, what was that program called? Shortcut. Okay, Shortcut. So let's pretend I'm downloading this lovely thing that sorry I got you into again, okay? Right here, I'm going to click to download, okay? And then I'm gonna download. Okay, do you see what it did?
Yeah,
It,
it's asking
it
you where you,
opened a Windows window and said, okay, I'm getting ready to download Shortcut. Where do you want it? If I had not toggled that little switch on, this window would never have opened.
Okay, so where do you want it?
You would never have seen anything. You would have just seen this and you would have said, you called me up and said, I downloaded it, but I don't know where it went.
Yeah.
Right,
All right.
Yeah.
But because I did that,
yeah,
when I clicked it, I get the window.
yeah,
So what I tend to do when it's a program I'm getting ready to install,
mm,
okay, I know I'm going to install it. I stick it right on my desktop because then I'm going to know exactly where it is. So I'm going to hit save. I'm going to close this. And right here
shortcut. Okay, shortcut.
is the
yeah,
file I just downloaded.
Yeah.
Now, I don't happen to want it, but that's where I would ask for it to be. If I was downloading a PDF, in fact, let's do that. Ah, Peggy, you should have closed those. So let's pretend that I want that schedule for all of our classes. So I'm going to go to the winter classes page. And I had to click the 3 dots because I've made this browser window small, right?
Right.
Like if you looked at it on your phone or you looked at it on a tablet where you were portrait. So it doesn't have room to do the whole navigation bar. So it gives me my hamburger menu that we've talked about. So right here is the 1-page flyer with the list of classes. All right. So if I click that, yeah, it's not okay. It opens it up, but I don't want to print it right now. Okay. I want to download it. Do you see this download arrow here?
oh,
Right.
Right.
that's what that is.
That's what that is. So when you get a PDF that you open in a browser, which they typically open in the browser, and you click this, you're downloading the file.
Ah,
So I'm going to click download and look at that. It says, okay, we got it. Where do you want to put it? And this one, I want to put in my lifespan folder. With my Academy 2021 winner. This, you see what I'm doing, Mary?
Yeah.
I've lost you.
No.
Well,
But-
it's got, you're going kind of fast, Peggy. I think
I'll
that's
do it
one of the
again.
problems.
That's all
Yeah.
right, but that's not the important part. The
Yeah.
important part is you're going to touch the
Download
download.
button.
yeah,
Yeah, I can do that.
If you have checked the box that says decide the folder you want to put it in, okay, then this window will open up, Mary, and this is File Explorer or a version thereof. And I'm going to go to my lifespan folder, which is over here on the left. These are the folders. And then this is what's in the folder. Right now, we're on the desktop. You can see right at the top, it says
Yeah.
desktop, right?
Uh-huh.
And that's where I put the last thing. So that's why it went there first. But
Yeah.
this time, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to pick the folder lifespan.
okay.
So now it shows me every folder I have in that folder.
You did not have to click save?
Not yet, Paul. I have to tell it where I want it first.
Oh, well,
Well,
This
that was,
is hold on. This is lifespan, but that's not good enough for me. I want it here in Academy 2021.
oh,
Okay,
So I'm going to double click that folder. And now I'm inside that folder. Do you see at the top, it says Dropbox,
yes.
Lifespan, Academy 2021.
mhm,
And you know what? I'm even going to go one further. I'm going to put it in Winter 2021.
okay.
And now I would hit the save button.
Ah, okay.
And now it says, okay, but, oh, it did save it. I thought it was going to ask me whether I wanted to repeat or save over the file that's already there.
But
So
now you have to remember where it was though, where it is, I mean, right?
but see, Tony, that's the whole point, isn't it? Because if you use File Explorer the way you should,
Right,
then you are organizing your files and you are creating that folder structure.
okay.
So you know where the hell you're putting what, because you created, why in the world would I ever have created these folders?
yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
I did, because look at all the stuff I have
Right,
for this organization. The last thing I want is it all over my desktop and I don't know where the hell anything is.
Yeah.
So
So-
I create, this is our 2019 grants folder. And in here is every grant we did in 2019. All
That's
right.
beautiful. That's beautiful, but at some point, we have to learn how to create the folder.
Yes, dear. I get that we have to do a session on File Explorer.
Okay.
yeah,
Okay, I get it. What I was trying to answer is if you decide you want to know where your downloads go, then what you're deciding is you're going to organize what the hell is on your own computer.
Okay.
And that means you got to be committed to spending a little time, organizing it, setting it up, organizing it, and keeping track of it. It's the same thing you went through when you worked, as most of you did, and you had bloody regular old file cabinets.
Mm-hmm.
That what the hell do you think that filing hour and a half you did every week was about? It's this.
organization,
It's this. Now you're spending that hour and a half a week filing here instead of on a paper file cabinet. So this is the same thing. So here's the main file cabinet, and inside there are hanging thingies with labels on them, which are my folders. So this is where my Academy 2021 is, and this is where my winner for Academy 2021 is.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I want to go back and look at a graphic we used in winter 2021, I don't want to have to look through everything that's here. And it's a lot of work. I'm not going to, but it's work for me because it's a lot more shtick. You don't have all this stuff. So for you, it's going to be relatively straightforward to organize your information on your computer or your tablet. Tablets are different, Ursula. But when it comes to computers, this is one of the ways that you can do this.
Okay.
All right, enough. Now I'm going to show you one fun thing and then we're done.
Right, my brain is getting.
No, I
Yeah,
know your
right.
eyes are glazing over. I know you all well enough. I know when that happens.
It's nap time.
Yeah.
Yes, I understand. Just give me a minute. I want to make sure I have this right. So I'm going to show you something called Snip and Sketch. Yes, Shift S.
Mhm.
So everybody knows there's a Windows key on your keyboard, right?
Right.
On your keyboard, there's that little key
The third one from the left on the bottom.
that looks exactly like the icon that's in your bottom left corner of your screen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's called the Windows key. So if I push Windows Shift S and hold them down at the same time, come on, don't you like how that worked? See how good that is? Ah, yep, it worked. All right, hold on, I got to do it again. I was just impatient. So you can introduce yourself to this little application that's sitting inside your Windows 10 computer and play with it this week. Are you ready?
Yeah.
So you hit the Windows key and hold it down, the Shift key and hold it down, and the S key and hold it down.
S or F?
S as in snap.
Okay. Oh, that I understand.
Nothing happened.
You have to be patient. Can you look up here for a minute and I can show you? Hello.
Uh-huh.
So do you see how I have these little icons at the very top? You probably can't see them, can you?
Yeah,
Right.
A square.
about 5 of them.
Yeah, square, freestyle, window snip, or full screen, right?
Okay.
When I click on full screen, I have now put this, look, I've now put this on my clipboard.
I'm not getting that, Peggy. What
I'll
am I?
show you, just be patient a minute and
Okay.
watch, and then I'll tell you how to do it again. So this is now on my clipboard, and look, it's exactly a copy of my screen. There all of you are, right?
Is
Are you seeing this?
yes, is this a way to take a screenshot?
Yes, it is, my friend. And I can write on it. I can highlight stuff.
And so those 3 keys you pushed gave you all those little tools at the top?
The 3 keys, okay, and it takes a minute for it to open. Windows key, Shift key, S.
Oh,
And
shit.
then your screen grays out. And at the very top, and Ursula, yours won't do this unless you're on a computer. At the very top, you have rectangular snip, freestyle, window snip, full screen snip. So instead, I could say, well, let me just get the rainbow because I really like that. So what Windows does is it puts it down on the clipboard, which is down in my bottom right corner of my screen, which you may not be able to see at all. Can you see it at all in the bottom right corner?
Yes.
Perfect. That's the clipboard in Windows 10. So
Well,
I took a square screenshot of the rainbow. And now if I click that, Windows 10 opens up the screenshot I took in Snip and Sketch. And now I can do a whole gob of stuff. I can crop it. I can write on it.
Mhm.
If you have a touch screen, can you just use your finger?
I don't know. Let's see. I don't think this one is a touch screen. But yes, you should be able to, Tony.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was, makes sense.
And then I can save it, copy it, share it, whatever I want.
So what's the clipboard?
Oh, boy.
We're going to talk about the clipboard. The clipboard is what you do anytime you copy and paste, right? Do you remember in one class we talked about you select text and you hit Control-C to copy it? The minute you do that, or the minute you use any menu bar in the top to copy, you are putting it on the clipboard. It's just where everything goes that you copy goes on the clipboard.
Okay. Are we able to find it later?
In this instance, if you can think about these classes as trying to parse things, okay? Trying to give you information about slivers, eventually the slivers will all come together in a picture. But if you try to see the whole picture right from the beginning, you will lose yourself
Okay,
and feel overwhelmed.
I
So
know that.
all I'm trying to do in this particular example is to get you to try one fun thing that you can do if you do snip and sketch. Now, what's even more interesting is I can put snip and sketch down in my, my search bar down in the bottom of my windows. And
Mhm.
it's right there, and I can actually put it right on my taskbar. So I have a snip and sketch icon right on my taskbar, and I can say, oh, I'm going to do a new one. And then I can take a screenshot of all of you. And then I have it on my clipboard, and I can do anything I want. I can draw mustaches on your faces.
Throw darts.
Mhm.
I could do anything. See, look at what I got. It's cool.
Email that picture to somebody else.
So now, yes, Mary. So now I have a screenshot of all of you at class. And if I go up to the share button up here and I click share, okay, here's a new thing I bet you didn't know. Do you remember how during our iPad class, you guys, we did AirDrop? Do any of you remember AirDrop?
Yeah,
No.
I vaguely remember AirDrop.
Right.
Basically, if you were close to me, I could send this to you just because you're close to me. I could just share it with you.
AirDrop.
But I'm just going to do mail. Okay. So I can pick a mail and it'll open that mail. And now that picture's right there, Mary,
Mm-hmm.
right in my mail.
Wow.
Peggy, Gene had pointed me to this when I asked him a question. It's now my very favorite application. It's wonderful.
It's great, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I use something different. They have an old version of this called the snipping tool, which I've always used. And then if I wanted anything more exotic, I went to the application. What the heck is the name of that application that I got up here? I forget. That I adore, but now I can't remember the name of it because I'm getting tired. But the thing that's cool about this is it's one of the best capture edit tools. I mean, Windows has never had anything this good before. So this is a pretty cool tool.
So I have a granddaughter who does clever things all the time. So she gets a photograph and decorates it and writes on it and all that. So maybe she's using this tool.
I don't know that, Mary, but my suspicion is that your granddaughter is using a mobile tool on a mobile device.
Yeah,
Okay, whole different thing. This is Windows 10 on your computer.
right, I forget.
But the concept is the same.
Yeah,
The concept is the same.
Peggy,
Yes,
I
Kathy?
don't have, do I have Windows 10 on an Apple?
No, Kathy, you don't.
I
You
didn't
ha-
think so, because I'm just listening, but I didn't think I did.
No. I'm going to talk next week a bit about Safari because there
Okay.
are such similarities when you're using an Apple device between Chrome on an iPad and Safari on an iPad. So the browser discussion is applicable. But we're going to talk even more about Apple stuff when we move into Apple on week 5.
Oh, week 5. So really, this is the non-Apple class.
This is a Windows 10. The first 4 weeks, where it doesn't mean that everything we didn't talk about is for you too. We're still
Right.
talking about browsers. It's just with Apple, the browser's Safari.
Right, right. That's what I always use, Safari.
But here's the thing that's interesting about that too, and this is where the old competition thing starts, is that now Chrome has an app for the iPad. So you can use Chrome on an Apple device. It took a while, but they do now.
Wow.
And one last statement, and then I'm going to shut up because your eyes are totally glazed. Somebody said, why do I have an Apple account? Who was it that asked that? Ursula? Could have been. So we'll wait till next week. Why do I have a Google account? What does a Google account mean?
mm-hmm.
Mary, were you the one that asked that?
No,
Me.
I heard it.
Beth, okay. I knew I got it from somebody. I apologize, Beth. And basically, when you sign up for a Gmail email address, you are creating a Google account, period. And that Google account gives you your Gmail, but it also gives you a lot of other things you can and don't have to use. It's up to you. I love the sync function. Paul doesn't, but that's because he's in Edge trying to get Google to sync. I'm kidding you. I'm teasing you.
Peggy, can you repeat again? That was Windows, Shift, and what was the third?
The Windows key, the Shift key, and the letter S.
As in Sam.
S as in Sam. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
You can also get there, Bobby, by the little search bar on your taskbar that sits right next to the window button in the bottom left corner.
Mm-hmm.
If you click in there and you type snip and shit, what's the name of it?
Sketch.
Snip and sketch. If you type snip and sketch, it'll come up.
Where, in the search bar part?
Yeah.
Is that- Yeah,
It
okay.
comes up as an app that you can then open.
Oh, hold on. Why is that coming up now?
So if for some reason the Windows key, Shift key, S doesn't work right, you can go into that Windows search bar next to the Windows button, start button in the bottom left corner, and you can type snip and search, sketch, snip and sketch, and it will come up and you can open it.
All right, now how do I take a picture of the screen after I've opened?
I'm leaving.
Oh,
Bye, Paul. When you open it, there should be a new button in the top left corner. It's blue and it says new.
yeah,
Click
I got-
new.
I got rectangular snip.
Yes, you have grayed out the screen and then you have 4 options: rectangular snip, free form snip,
Right,
window, or full screen. And you
All
just
right.
pick what you want and then you put your cross on the screen and click and drag until you have selected what you want your snip to be.
You put your what on? I couldn't understand that word. I'm sorry.
No, you don't need to be sorry. I'm going to show you.
Shoot.
Hold on.
So
Okay.
I've got this here. All right.
All right, let me get back to the main screen. Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to search for Snip and Sketch. When I get it, do you see me now? Can you see that I got Snip and Sketch? I will in a
Yes,
minute.
right.
I'm not doing it right. So give
Well,
me
I got
a second.
something different when I got,
There it is.
Snip and Sketch. If you look at, you can see my screen here, right?
yes, I can.
Okay, so I went into the search bar at the bottom left there, at the very, very bottom, and I typed Snip and Sketch.
Okay, good.
This time I only had to type Snip because it remembered.
Right.
I go up and I click on it and it opens
Hold
Snip
on.
and Sketch.
You got a new window going. You got two windows up.
Yes, Tony, I know this is Snip
Okay.
and Sketch right here, right?
Hold on. When you say right, I can't see you and hold on. Let me minimize this.
I'm
Okay.
sharing. Okay.
I'm with you now.
Okay, so this is Snip and Sketch. I click on New.
Right.
Right. I'm going to move this back over. I click on New. It gives me my 4 icons at the top.
Where I don't see that. Hold on.
That's because I'm on Zoom and the menu bar is blocking.
Oh, okay.
And I'm just going to pick the first one, which is rectangle
Just show it.
strip.
And whatever.
Snip.
Anyway. I'm gonna
And
leave.
so
Somebody
do you
else
see-
is talking. I can't.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I have to leave. My son's here. Bye.
Good. Okay, Peg.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave too. Bye.
So what I'm going to do, can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right. Do you see the square, the white cross?
Yeah, I see that.
Okay. I'm going to put that where I want to get my snip.
All right.
I'm going to hold down the mouse button and I'm going to click and drag.
Oh,
and I
okay.
Select the snip.
Okay.
And now that is on my clipboard here in Snip and Sketch, ready for me to write on. So I can draw a red arrow over to Beth and say, this is Beth.
That looks like Beth.
I can make my arrow bigger. I can increase the size. See, right here. So I can say, oh, cool. So now I'm going to point at Tony with a bigger sized arrow. This is kind of amazing that you can do this with a free
Yeah.
included in Windows tool. I mean, it's really pretty astonishing. But I don't want this, so I'm going to dump it and then I'm going to be back. That's
Okay.
it.
Thanks a lot, Peg. Yeah, I'll have to practice that if I can remember the drag and, the outline of it.
Sorry, it wasn't my intention to go quite so long, but just
Yeah.
play around with it and see how it goes.
All right. Thanks a lot, Peg. Very informative, believe me.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'll see you next week.
See you
Well, I'll
tomorrow.
see you before that. I won't see you tomorrow, but you'll do good.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.